It gives me great joy that you have decided to be here. How are you doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Happy fall blessings. My name is Selena. I'm a fellow path dweller of this life. And just looking to spread messages of happiness. Today I'm going to be reading from This I Believe. I happened to come upon it a decade ago. And I actually, a few years later, I did get this one as well. You know, they have a website, thisibelieve.org, and I'll read what they said on their website. This I Believe is an international organization engaging people in writing and sharing essays describing the core values that guide their daily lives. Over 125,000 of these essays, written by people from all walks of life, have been archived on their website, heard in public radio, chronicled through these books, and featured in weekly podcasts. The project is based on the popular This I Believe radio series in the 1950s, hosted by Edward R. Murrow. I will be reading one from the 1950s today. I am going to read about the author of this, Oscar Hammerstein II. Oscar Hammerstein II wrote the book in lyrics for many operettas and musical comedies. He wrote Showboat with composer Jerome Kurd. Later with composer Richard Rodgers, Hammerstein wrote some of his greatest musicals, including Oklahoma, South Pacific, The King and I, and The Sound of Music. I just think that this truly fits what is going on right now in this world. There's just a lot of commotion, a lot of outside noise, and we're not looking inward. And we're looking outward, and I don't know, maybe that's just not the way to be. So I would like to read this to you, and then I'll end with a quote. I'm so glad you're here, guys, and thank you. All right, here we go. And Oscar titled his essay, Happy Talk. I have an unusual statement to make. I am a man who believes he is happy. What makes it unusual that a man who is happy seldom tells anyone? The unhappy man is more communicative. He is eager to recite what is wrong with the world, and he seems to have a talent for gathering a large audience. It is a modern tragedy that despair has so many spokesmen and hope so few. I believe, therefore, it is important for a man to announce he is happy, even though such announcements is less dramatic and less entertaining than the cries of this pessimistic opposite. Why do I believe I am happy? Death has deprived me of many whom I've loved. Dismal failure has followed many of my most earnest efforts. People have disappointed me. I have disappointed them. I have disappointed myself. Further than this, I am aware that I live under a cloud of international hysteria. The cloud may burst, and it may rain atom bombs, could destroy millions of lives, including my own. From all the evidence, could I not build up a strong case to prove why I'm not happy at all? I could, but it would be a false picture. As false as I were to describe a tree only as it looks in winter. I would be leaving out a list of people I love who have not died. I would be leaving out an acknowledgement of my many successes that have sprouted amongst my many failures. I would be leaving out the blessing of good health, the joy of walking in the sunshine. I would be leaving out my faith that the goodness of man will triumph eventually over the evil that causes war. All of these things are much a part of my world as the darker worries that shade them. The conflict of good and evil merges in thick entanglement. You cannot isolate virtue and beauty and success and laughter and keep them from all contact of wickedness and ugliness and failure and weeping. The man who strives for such isolated joy is writing for fall. He will wind up in isolated gloom. I have experience with that. I don't believe anyone could enjoy living in this world unless he can accept its imperfection. He must know and admit that he is imperfect, and all other mortals are imperfect, and it is childish to allow these imperfections to destroy all his hope and all his desires to live. Nature is older than man, and she is still far from perfect. Her summers do not always start promptly on June 21st. Her bugs and beetles and other insects often go beyond her obvious intentions, devouring the leaves and buds with which she has adorned her countryside. After the land has remained too dry for too long, she sends relieving rains, but frequently they come in torrents so violent that they do more harm than good. Over the years, however, nature keeps going on her imperfect way, and the result, in spite of her many mistakes, is a continuing miracle. It would be folly for an individual to seek to do better than to go on his imperfect way, making his mistakes, riding out the rough and bewildering, exciting and beautiful storm of life until the day he dies. It's very touching. You notice a common theme. That we're kind of going through the same stuff now. It seems to be repeating itself. And I'm wondering, what is your "this I believe" statement? So often we don't think about that. We kind of just go on our imperfect way, making our mistakes, but not looking inward. But to be honest, it's been recent for me because I've spent most of my life living with my worst critic. Then I realized, I have a choice. There's nothing that I can control out here, but I can control in here. And I guess I made a vow to myself, I will grow. Like that's it. Regardless of what's going on, I will see beauty. I guess that's this I believe for now. Obviously it'll change. It'll change with time, considering I'm in my 30s, so I am looking forward to it. I hope the best for you guys too, every one of you, that we can be better. I do love you guys, and I think we all have beauty. all of us. And it's just the intention of using it. We're not all the same, and I think that's just right. That's just how it's supposed to be. I appreciate you letting me ramble on. uh, Usually I'm pretty quiet, but with this, it's just nice. It's nice to do this, and I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you find value in it, and maybe consider what your This I Believe is. I'd love to hear it, and just reflect on it. Maybe go to a quiet space or listen to music or whatever you prefer, and just think about it, the values that lead your life. I would love to end this segment on a beautiful quote. Two things fill me with constantly increasing admiration and awe. The longer and more earnestly I reflect on them. The starry heavens without and the moral law within. Immanuel Kant. Many, many blessings on your journey in this life. We don't always know what's coming next, but we all hope for the best. Love you guys. Please take care. Be good to yourself.